Hi, Chukwa. Hi, Adewumi. Welcome, Akinola. Welcome, guys. Taiwo Egba, welcome. Please let me know if you can see me and Mr. Dutton. Welcome. Let me know where you're watching me from. Too much. Thank you for loving me too much. Welcome. Let me know where you're watching me from. Can you see me and Mr. Dutton, or can you only see me? I want to make sure. Nice. Welcome, Nice. Sharwin, welcome, Sharwin. You're from Chukwa is from Kentucky, USA. Welcome. All the way from USA. Mr. Yoti, welcome. Let me know where you're watching me from. And if you can see both I and Mr. Dotun. Showumi Abiodun, welcome. Sharwin Pierre, welcome. From Brampton, Ontario, welcome. I'm seeing you both. Okay, that's great. That's great. Sorry, I'm going to be moving my head from one device to the other just to make sure I'm reading your comments and I can see myself also. So I probably won't be able to. From United Kingdom, Anthony, welcome. How is it going on over there? What time is it over there right now? Mr. Datu, can you see the comment? From United Kingdom, Anthony, welcome. How is it going on over there? What time is it over there right now? Emmanuel Osagi, welcome. Mr. Datu, no. Can you see the comments?
No, I can't.
Can you go on Facebook?
Yeah.
Because you guys were actually using Zoom to connect, because Facebook is not really giving us that opportunity. So Emmanuel, where are you watching us from? And you guys, as you join, kindly click that share button on the right so that we can get more people in this conversation.
Is it Facebook?
Okay, Aderi Big Bay, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name so wrong. I'm sure I am. Welcome. Emmanuel, yes, from the US. Where in the US are you from? And please click the share button just so that we can get more people in the conversation this evening. Anthony, welcome, Anthony. How are you? Okay, it's 11 p.m. in the evening. Oh, that's great. So how was your day, guys? How are you guys doing? How have you been coping, being at home? For those who are not one of the essential workers, how are you coping? Okay, Montgomery, that's Alabama, right? Your name is in Chinese or Japanese or Korean. I don't know how to read it, but welcome. Where are you watching us from? Mr. Breeze, welcome. Where are you watching us from? Let the viewers know where you're watching us from. Welcome. Mr. Adegoke, welcome. Names are not easy for me to pronounce. at times. Your name is in Chinese or Japanese or Korean. Let us know where you're watching us from, and kindly click the share button so that we can get more people. More people. Welcome, welcome. Where are you watching us from? Let the viewers know where you're watching us from. Welcome. Mr. Adegoke, welcome. Anthony, I'm not sure if I've pronounced Anthony already. Anthony, welcome. You're working from home, you're right. Oh, that's superb. Yes, I know some of my states. So you're working from home, that's great. You're able to work from home, so you're a bit busy. I'm watching from Nigeria in Lagos. Oh, welcome, thank you. So how is Lagos? Lagos, how is Lagos? Anthony already. Anthony, welcome. You're working from home, you're right. Oh, that's superb. Yes, I know some of my states. Oh, Mr. Dotun, can you see the comments now? Are you on Facebook? So you're working from home, that's great. You're able to work from home, so you're
Yes, I'm on Facebook, but I can't see the comments. Hold on, let me check something else.
Yeah, try and find where the live feed is. Try and go on my page to find where the live feed is, and you should be able to go on there and click the comment. So you might have to put it on mute on the other device in which you're using. Mr. Ogo, welcome. Mr. Pierre, welcome. Mr. Elvis, welcome. Let us know where you're watching us from, and kindly click the share button to get more people up in here, where we're gonna not party hard, but we're gonna talk and we're gonna discuss, and we're gonna have some fun getting to know one another across the globe. So let me click the share button. Let me know how you're doing this evening or this night. Let us know where you're watching us from, and kindly click
The computer so you can see what you're saying.
not party hard, but we're gonna talk. We're gonna discuss. We're gonna have some fun getting to know one another across the globe. Mr. Sanusi, welcome. How you doing? Where you watching us from? And can you kindly click that share button to get more people up in here? It's been cool and busy in some areas. CU's most people refuse to stay at home due to frustration from the crisis. I know. I know some people, they just don't know how to be in their own like atmosphere, in their own space. Some people do not know how to find that balance. And I think this is this issue that is going on right now is so great for some people to actually find themselves. Some people do not know themselves. Elvis, good evening. I'm watching from Lagos. Welcome, welcome, Elvis. Kindly click that share button for me to get more people in the conversation. And then, how have you been coping in Nigeria? How have you been coping with the lockdown? So yeah, like I was saying, I think it's great for people to be in their own space, to face their own demons. And that's most reason why some people just can't stay in their house. And then you can't blame some also. They're unable to stay home because they don't have the basic necessities to be able to stay home. So that's also another issue some people are facing. So Mr. Datu, can you read the comments now before I introduce you?
Not yet. I'm trying to log through another computer.
Another
right?
device? Okay. Adrian Akiri, welcome. Let me know where you're watching me from. Mr. Roland, welcome, welcome, welcome. Help us click that share button to get more people in here. Jesus, you love me too much, oh. Too much, oh. Too much, oh. Mr. Roland. Excess love. Oh. Welcome. Let's click that share button and get more people in the conversation, guys. I'm sorry that we came on a bit late trying to set up Zoom with Mr. Datun and trying to get it back. Get us on Facebook. It took a minute since Facebook is not letting us to come live together, so we had to use a different app, which is Zoom. Mr. Ravi, sorry about that. Welcome. Please let us know where you're watching us from. Let us know where you're watching us from, and help us click that share button to get more viewers to join the conversation, more friends and family to join the conversation. Yes. So how those who are online at the moment, how are you guys coping during this COVID-19 lockdown events? How are you coping? Let me know how you're coping. What are you doing to stay busy for those who are not actually working from home? But even for those who are actually working from home, how are you keeping, up and go? How are you keeping yourself mentally, physically, in good condition, in good standing? And also financially for some. How are you guys coping? Let us know. We're pretty much here to conversate, to talk about, how some people are coping during this period, to share thoughts, to mingle mentally, and to give advices wherever it needed. And definitely to try and debunk some of these controversies that is in the media, social media. How are you guys coping? Let us know. We're pretty much here to conversate, to talk about, how some people are coping during this period, to share thoughts, to mingle mentally. You guys, let's click this share button. Let's click the share button. Let's get more people on here. Let's get more people on here. Some of these controversies that is in the media, social media. Let's get more people to come on here, guys. Let's click the share button to get more people on here so we can have a full conversation and not just me talking, sounding like I'm ranting on. Let's get more people on here. So for those who are already online, let us know how you're coping during this period. How are you doing? How are you managing yourself, your family members? And is there any subject, any topic that you would like us to dive into to decipher a little bit? For those who are already online, let us know how you're coping during this period. How are you doing? How are you managing yourself, your family members? And is there any subject, any topic that you would like us to dive into, decipher a little bit? Let's click that share button and get more people on here. And definitely, if you need to call WhatsApp to be online to ask questions, you can definitely do that. Thank you for loving me too. Negro, welcome. Welcome, guys. Jama, welcome. Daniel, welcome. As you join, kindly let us know where you're watching from and how you're doing this evening. Yes, live. I'm very much alive. Yes, we're live, Jama. So where are you watching from? Let us know. Let us know where you're watching us from and how are you doing? And help us click that share button. From Bowmanville. Where's Bowmanville, please? If I don't mention your name, I'm sorry, I must have missed it. Can you let me know by waving your hands and saying that you're here so that I can give you a shout out? And help me click that share button to get more people up in here. And please don't should be sending me any private messages at the moment. Any comments should be made on this right now. I want us to deliberately, this is Ade Rigbe. Oh boy, I'm sorry. So, let me read that. So Mr. Aderigbe said, I want us to deliberately discuss a topic. Can the youth take over the government for better Nigeria? So this is for Nigeria now. Can the youths, for those, especially for those who are in Nigeria, the Nigerians on the platform, can the youths take over the government? Okay, I believe it's not about, I'm not sure that question is if the youth can take over the government. The question is the government willing to give the opportunity for the youths to take over? And then which youth are we talking about? Are we talking about the youth that actually want to actually change the country? Are we talking about the youths that just want to also loot money like their parents and their forefathers? Which youths are we actually talking about here? And Mr. Ubi, Dr. Ubi online, welcome. And Dr. Ubi said is mentally sapped and bored. Oh no. Mrs. Ido, welcome. Mrs. Ladene, welcome. That's my mom, supporting from across the globe, watching from Ottawa. Please call me by oh boy, Bagus, Bagyokis. That is difficult. Mr. Calvin Maxwell, welcome. Border from Nigeria, Dr. Ubi. So what are ways we can spice up your boredom? Well, I'm doing my part. Mr. Baggy or Keys. Oh boy, I'm thinking I might have to just say Mr. Baggy because I cannot pronounce that. Jama. So for the Nigerians on board, or for those who are in Nigeria, so can the youth take over the government, or do you think it's just all for talks? Welcome, Mr. Excellence. Welcome. Let us know where you're watching us from. And kindly click that share button to get more people up in here. Mr. Patot Taiwo, welcome. Let us know where you're watching us from and how are you doing? Mr. William, welcome. Mr. William, welcome. So, Mr. Dotun, Are you able to now see the comments?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see the comments now.
Okay, that's great. Okay, I'm going to introduce you, or you introduce yourself very soon. So, welcome, guys. I think some people are still trying to get on, but they're unable to. I don't know why. Some people are unable to. Why are you unable to? Let me see. I'm still trying to connect some more people. Some people are sending me private messages that they're unable to. Okay, so right now, I believe it's time for us to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Dotun Olatunji.
It's insurance.
Some people are asking if they can join on Zoom. You may, but due to you won't be able to see other people's comments and you won't be able to comment, it's better for you to stick on Facebook. Hi, Usi, how are you? Let the viewers know where you're watching us from.
No problem now.
Dr. Kemi watching, welcome. Can you please send a link to Kay? I don't know why she's not able to get on. Yeah, if you go on my Facebook profile and stroll down, you will see the live view. For those who are finding it difficult, thank you, Mr. Negro. Placide, oh, I'm so sorry. Welcome. Elvis Ben, welcome. It's not been easy over here in Lagos. Oh, wow. Thank you, Dr. Kemi. It's that Mr. Elvis Ben said it has not been easy. I know we've been seeing a lot of live feeds in, okay, we've been seeing a lot of live feeds in, what do you call it? Coming from Lagos, that it's been quite difficult. And we're so sorry to hear that. We are very, very sorry to hear that. So right now we have about 48 people online viewing us. Mr. Dotun.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, 1 second, you're gonna introduce yourself. Let me read this. Dr. Ubi said, I don't think the youth are ready and they're as corrupt as the leaders. They won't make any difference. Even the youth are looking for opportunity to take their own slice of the national cake. Yes, and in a way it's sad, but I believe 80% of that is true in regards to the youth in Nigeria. I don't think they're quite ready to take on the government, to take on that role of leadership, because everybody, they don't know what hard work is. A lot of them just want the piece of that national cake. They're not seeing the nation as a whole, to better the nation, to better the race of the Black people and the people of African, well, people of African descent. So I won't even say only people of African descent. So, okay, now let's welcome Mr. Dotun Olatunji. Kindly introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, everyone. I hope everyone is doing okay and everyone is keeping safe. My name is Dotun Olatunji. I work with 5-Star Insurance Brokers, and I'm an insurance broker. So I hope tonight I'll be able to explain a little bit of how insurance work here in Canada and a little bit of what you can do to to save some money in this time, right? You can't save a lot because it's insurance, but we can still save a little bit.
Let me ask a question. I know some people have been asking, Mr. Datun, in regards to insurance at the moment, due to people not being able to work and bring in that, what do you call it, income to be able to pay for pretty much the basic amenities in home, because due to us not really knowing how long this is going to be for, some people rather actually like to keep that money aside. So is there anything that the insurance companies, we can call them and speak to them about, that they'll be able to either give us, what do you call it, any discounts, or put our payment on hold till then, or give us a little bit more information of what we can do in regards to this period of time?
Right. Thank you very much. I mean, as we all know, when it comes to insurance, right, it's all about protection. I mean, what are we protecting? We're protecting a certain asset, which is the vehicle, right? And when it comes to coverages, right, in Canada, we have different kind of coverages. We have all perils, which means it's a full coverage. Whatever happens to your vehicle, you're still fully protected, right? We have a third-party insurance, which is called one-way insurance as well, right? That means if you get into any at-fault accident, right, you will have to take care of your vehicle yourself, right? And then we have another one which is called comp only. So comp only, I mean, we can call it comp and collision, right? Meaning that if you get into an accident as well, right, everything will be fixed. If you get into an accident with maybe with an animal, for instance, or with something else apart from a vehicle, if it's not a collision, you will also be protected. So we have few types of insurance like that that can help you get good prices in Canada. Now, based on what's going on in the world right now, right? As you all know, for the past 2 years, insurance rate has gone up. No matter where you live, whether you live in Ontario, whether you live in, I can only speak of Ontario, to be honest, because I don't know what's going on in other provinces, right? But if you look at it, for the past 2 years, we all have been experiencing high rates when it comes to insurance. And some people get it really bad, especially most people that are living in Brampton. Brampton people, we get it really bad, and the price is really, really high. And but if you live outskirts of the
Oh, sorry, you said Brampton. Isn't Toronto worse than Brampton?
well, no, Brampton is the worst. I mean, I'm telling you, it's when it comes to insurance, they have the highest rate in the whole Ontario, right?
So they're worse than Toronto.
You know, Toronto can be diversified, right? Downtown Toronto is very cheap, all right? But when you get some certain part of Toronto, they are very expensive. So if you also look at it, insurance companies, they go by your postal code,
Yeah.
right? And that's how they determine how much you are going to pay, right? So this time that we are living, it's a very tough period, and you know, it's sad that this thing is happening to everyone all over the world, right? So when it comes to insurance, how can you save something? How can you save something? What can you do? And this has been the questions I've been answering for the past 3 weeks. As a matter of fact, as a broker, I don't want this to happen again. I don't sleep because my phone goes off the rope. Oh, Hola, what are we gonna do? Hola, what are you gonna do for us? And it's really, really, really stressful. But this is what we can do. I mean, I'm going to enlighten us a little bit about insurance, because most people, when they call, they get angry because they don't understand the kinds or the types of policy that they have. For instance, in this kind of situation, I've heard most of my clients, they want to continue driving their vehicle, but they still don't want to pay. That's so hard to, to describe to the insurance companies. What some of these insurance companies have done is that, okay, if you cannot afford to make your payments this month, for instance, we can move that payment to the following month, right? However, if you claim that you don't want to drive this vehicle at all, then that vehicle can be placed on fire and theft or suspension. Those are two ways that you can use to reduce your coverages if you don't want to drive your vehicle at all. Now, these are other things that we can do. Let's say you really want to save money, but you still want to drive your vehicle, right? What you can do is, if you're not financing your vehicle or it's not on the lease, you can change your coverage to third party. If you're paying full coverage before, you can change to third party. When you change to third party, at this time, it's going to be very difficult for someone to get into an accident. It still happened, because I still got a call this morning of an accident, right? I mean, that's what people say, right? Oh, nobody should get into an accident in this period. But I still get a call this morning of an accident.
What are those people doing, drinking and driving? How they get into an accident at this time of this period of time?
you know what? It could be everything. Stress, number one, is not a good thing. Who knows what happened? But in the case of the one I'm talking about, it happened at the parking lot, right?
Okay.
Right. This guy just parked his car and then somebody hit his car, right? And as we all know, parking lot accident is 50-50. I don't personally agree with it, but it is what it is. Law is law. We have to agree with that, right? But the saving grace for this individual, right, is because he called me earlier on that, Ola, can you please put my vehicle on fire and theft? I'm not going to be driving this vehicle. I'm not going anywhere, stuff, right? But guess what? He said, I'll call you back in 2 days before you can place it on fire and theft for me. Guess what? The following morning, somebody hit his car, right? So let's say I've gone ahead to place this vehicle on fire and theft, right? Although we try to save money, right, guys? Let's try to be realistic. We're trying to save money every month. We don't want to pay for 1 month. That's why we're trying to put the vehicle on fire and theft. But we also have to realize what happened after. Let's say I took a risk and I drove the car. For instance, I took that risk. I said, okay, I'm just going to the grocery. I just want to buy 1 or 2 things, and then an accident happened. Do you know that you're going to pay more than what you're trying to run away from? So
wow. Okay, hold on. Before we continue, let's answer some questions. So some people are like, Dr. Kemi said, what, really? Even if you're parked in the parking lot, it's still 50-50?
Absolutely.
Even if you're not in your car and the car is parked, and so you came out of the grocery store and you see someone hit your car, it's still 50-50?
No, that's not 50-50. So let me expatiate on that, right? So it's only 50-50 when both cars are moving. When both cars are moving, it's only 50-50, right? But if one car is completely stopped or parked, right? And then someone hits your car at that point, it's not 50-50. But guess what? Most of those accidents, people run away. They never declare it unless if someone
they don't claim it.
Yeah, unless if someone, a good Samaritan, as we all know, saw the person and then took his plate number, right, and then gave it out. That's the only that's one of the reasons why that person might be caught, right? So yeah, thanks, Dr. Kemi. Yeah, 50-50 is only when both
And
cars are
also
moving.
we have Ogone. Welcome, Ogone. It says, tell them you have a locked up garage with CCTV. It will go down drastically. I pay £260 a year. So this is in Europe. But so what about us here in Ontario? What if we mention that the car is parked in the garage, and of course we have a camera? Does that help in reducing the cost of insurance?
Well, to be able to answer that question, we have to really understand what he's saying. He said his car is parked. Is it going to be driving it, or is just parked? Really understand what I'm saying? If your car is parked,
well, if we want, especially for the just for general, you're driving it, but at least it's stored in a parked garage.
So the good thing about having a camera is to help you when it comes to claims. When you get into an accident, some companies will give you more incentives, they give you more discounts if you have it, but some companies, they still think that the person behind the wheel is the one that is actually controlling the vehicle. So that's why most of the time the risk is on the driver, right? However,
continue.
However, if you have a device like that, that can help the insurance company to enhance their judgment. Because when you have a CCTV camera, for instance, right, no one, someone can be easily judge who is at fault and who is not at fault because there's a camera there, right? So that helps the insurance company to come to a better judgment when it comes to an accident.
Just for like the claim at that point.
Yeah.
Not really for the decrease in payment. Okay, Rosadina, welcome, Rosadina Domingos. Mr. Negro Ode says, but if you suspend your insurance, the insurance company will definitely increase your insurance premium when you renew your insurance. So how true is that?
Okay, that's a very good question, because that's what I've been doing for the past 3 weeks. I've been suspending vehicles, and I've been putting vehicles on fire and theft. So fire and theft and suspension, they have a lot of similarities, right? And the reason why they come up with a subject suspension is this, right? So people take advantage of the insurance industry by trying to place their vehicle on fire and theft, and then they continue to drive the vehicle until the end of the term. And when the term is over, they call back again and say, oh, I want to renew it, right? So now they come up with something else called suspension. Now, suspension, the reason why they come up with suspension is this. If you have just one vehicle, now all companies are different. I mean, we have to be very, I have to be able to point that out. All companies are different. They come with different kinds of policies. Some companies, if you do have one vehicle, you can still place it on fire and theft. Some companies. Whereas most other companies, if you have one vehicle, you cannot place it on fire and theft. You have to place it on suspension. Now here, the difference between suspension and fire and theft. Suspension means that your vehicle must be parked for 45 days.
The vehicle must be parked
for 45 days.
For how long?
45 days.
Oh, 45 days. Wow.
Yeah. So your vehicle must be parked for 45 days for that suspension to really kick in. So just to answer the question that Mr. Ogbon,
Negro, yeah, Ode.
So just to answer that question, it's not necessarily true that your price will go up after, right? So what's actually happening is that if you're calling and you place your vehicle on suspension, right? So the first month, they reduce your price, right? They reduce that price because you said you're suspending it. However, if you call back 30 days after or 35 days after, that's below, right? It's below 45 days, right? Because remember,
Okay,
so
so the what do you call it? The cost there is 45 days.
45 days, yeah.
So I hope you guys
45
are
days.
hearing that. So if you want to suspend your vehicle, it has to be minimum 45 days. If you're going to be calling in to cancel the suspension before 45 days, that's when you now get.
Absolutely. So the money they reduced, yeah.
Okay, and then Mr. Negro also meant, well, actually, Mr. Ogene said, if one hits you in the back, you are safe. How true is that?
Well, according to the insurance law, right? Whoever hits anybody at the back is at fault.
Even when everybody's going like, okay, we're all going at 50 here, and all of a sudden the person in front of you is distracted and just, you know, presses their gas, and it wasn't enough time for you, even though you're giving that, because they always say, okay, when you're driving, give that space. Even though you're giving that space, okay, it's slippery road or it's raining or whatever, either or, even if it was just like a little dent, you're the one at the back and it was not your fault. How are you still at fault?
So that's a good question, right? And that's why they said leave a lot of space, right? I mean, 5 meters, whatever, when you are behind someone. And whoever is behind someone should always concentrate as well. And that's the problem, right? Sometimes when we go too closely, right, the person in front of us breaks suddenly, and then the person at the back was also distracted or was too close. You know, at that point, there is no way collision will not happen. It will only take God to help that person to escape that, right? And that's why they said, whoever hits anyone on the back will always be at fault, no matter in any situation, no matter
but
what.
isn't that redundant though? To me, it's ridiculous because that's not always true.
You're right about that. It's not always true, but there is no one to determine what happened exactly, right? So the person in front of you might say, "Oh, the car in front of me braked suddenly, so I had to stop as well," right? And then the person at the back said the same story, right? So there is no way insurance complaint is gonna come up with a conclusion of who is at fault. Remember, when there is a collision, someone has to be at fault. So that's exactly what's going on when someone hits someone at the back.
Wow. Okay. So we have Bumi, welcome. Derek, welcome. Ogene, sorry, Sister Ogene, welcome. I was saying is a guy, is a girl, is a lady. Dr. Kemi said great information. Dare, welcome. Lem, Kola, welcome. Joseph, welcome. Who else? Some people just got in. I think I missed some people. Okay, so Mr. Negro says, why is it that his premium increases every year and it doesn't make any single claim?
Well, you know what? I mean, that's an amazing question, right? So in Ontario, by law, I'm gonna break this down very well to everybody. In Ontario, by law, your insurance company has no right, to increase your premium. There are few reasons why your premium will increase at the end of your contract. Let's say you got a ticket, right? The ticket, any ticket you get will affect your premium at the end of the contract. Or you go into an at-fault accident. Every at-fault accident as well will affect your premium when it comes to renewal, right? So the way at-fault accident happen is this, right? When you start to drive at the beginning, you start at 0 star, and then they start to bump you up every year you go. You get to 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, right? And then your record gets better. But the moment you get into an at-fault accident, right, during the year, your premium will remain the same because they can't increase your price during the year. They can only alter your price at the end of the contract. So at the end of the contract, once they pull your record and they realize that you have an at-fault accident, right, then it will affect your premium to go up, meaning that your star rating that is at 9 before is coming down to 0. You know, I always use this term for my client. I said, have you guys ever played snake and ladder? You remember that snake and ladder thing, right? You're going,
Oh, yeah.
you're going up, and then the moment, as you know, the moment that you got, into the snake, whatever territory, you know, you go down again. That's exactly the way accident works. Every time you get into an at-fault accident, your price is going up upon renewal. It's not going to change within the year, but it will change upon renewal. Now to further answer, what's the Mr.
Negro?
Mr. Negro, the further answer is question. So the reason why, even though you've been keeping good records for the past years, right? For the past 2 years in Canada, the Ontario government have increased prices industry-wide. That's why you're seeing that increase. So the good thing is that you have good records, right? And you can still shop around to see if you can get a better price. That's a good thing. But the sad part of it is that whether you have a superb record or not, you might still get a little bit of increase. You know, even this year, I was, me and my wife were looking at our renewal as well. We live in Brampton. Our renewal has gone up by $67, right? So for 2 years in a row, 2 years in a row now, we've got an increase in our home insurance as well. But I was not angry because I already understood what's going on in the industry. So the reason why you see that increase, sir, is because of the increase in the industry, not because your insurance company deliberately want to increase your price. No, it's just because there's an increase in the industry overall.
So either way, the insurance will still always be making money. So my people, I suggest we should come together and open our own insurance company, because we're always going to be making money. So after the COVID-19, maybe something we should start thinking about. Let's start our own insurance company. But we also have some topics here. Sorry, I think I went too far back. Okay, Mr. Ben says person at the back is always at fault because he's the one that did the hitting, regardless of the action of the person in front. And Dr. Kemi said, how about coverage for accidents occurring during bad weather? Like example, like black ice. Well, I think you've already answered that. Even if you're not at fault, the insurance will still go up, but not within the year. It's going to be when you're renewing your insurance. Okay, and then we have Dr. Ubi that says the average Nigerian doesn't think about insurance. Is it not a topic here? How do you think that can change?
Well, I really like that question, and I'm gonna be honest. 80% of my clients are Nigerians, or they're African, and some of them really don't understand the purpose of insurance. You know, we all know that where we come from, some people do have insurance in Nigeria, actually, but it's not something that is mandatory, right? But when we come to a different country and we begin to see that all these things are mandatory, and the reason why they are mandatory is because of the future purpose, especially when something happens to you. They don't want you to drive a vehicle without insurance because they want you to be fully protected, right? But some of us still don't understand that part of insurance. We still think that insurance company is just taking our money. We're not getting anything back. You know what? I've been, I've been so fortunate to work in this industry, and I've seen what people claim back from the insurance company. It is ridiculous, and that's the reason why you see increase in insurance every year, right? I mean, when someone has a minor accident means that when someone just bump your bumper, just a little bump, right? And then these people claim almost $200,000 from the insurance company.
You know what? Something like that happened to me. A lady just came from, well, she didn't come from nowhere. I saw her coming, but there was like not much I could do because there was a car in front of me, and then she literally hit me. And before we didn't even call the police, came out of the car. It was just like a little dent, and we're like, okay, it's not a big deal. Let's forget about it. No, I thought it wasn't a big deal. She's the one that hit me too, though. And I figured, who cares? But this lady called the insurance company claiming that I damaged her vehicle. One, there was no damage on her car. She's the one that hit me. But yet claimed I hit her car and she has this damage. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So some people are crazy.
Absolutely. And you know what? And that's where we need to educate everyone about how to help insurance to go down in Ontario. Whether we like it or not, when the sinners are suffering, the righteous will also take part of it. And that's exactly what's going on with the insurance industry, right? It has come to the point, that they just have to rate everybody for them to make their money back, right? And that's
They're
where
making money, man.
that's where the education comes from. I mean, between you and I, right? If you the only way they make money, I will tell you, is only through investment. If you want to do just general accounting, what comes in and what goes out, they ain't making money. Between you and I, they only make money through what they invested, because the
The amount of people that actually have insurance and the amount of people that actually claim, isn't there like a big margin in between?
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. But have you thought about what people claim? Have you thought about that?
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about how much do people really claim? One person, right? I've seen one person have claimed over 500,000 from the insurance company. One person. And if you look at it, right? 500,000 might be a chicken change for the insurance company, but that's a lot of money when it comes to claim, right? So, and to be honest with you, a way to do that is to educate one another, right? And be cautious when you get into an accident. We all know what's going on here in Canada, right? We know most of these accidents are planned. We know some of these accidents too, they are influenced by lawyers and by clinics, right? And those are the people that we really need to knock down. When you get into an accident, the first person that comes to you is the tow truck, right? When the tow truck driver comes to you, it gives you a lawyer card.
Mm-hmm.
I say, oh, call this lawyer, right? And then how come a lawyer has a clinic that is using, oh, use this clinic. This clinic is very fine. You see, that's where the insurance company can never come at par. They will always lose when something like that's happened, because lawyer is doing his own part to make sure he gets money out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the clinic is also doing his own part to make sure that they get money from the insured. So they kept on telling you, oh, come back, come back. Can you imagine you going for physio for a whole 1 year, and insurance company is going to pay for the whole 1 year? Guess what? That money is going into the pocket of the clinic, not into your pocket, not into the insurance company's pocket. but it's going into the pocket of the clinics. And those clinics are not suffering the insurance price. We are the ones suffering it. So that's when we all need to educate one another, right? I mean, I've been so fortunate to have good clients so far. And then whenever they get into an accident, they give me a call first. And I give them the best advice I can give them, right? I always want people to check themselves. If you get into an accident, try to check yourself just to be sure that you're fine, right? I mean, go to your doctor, make sure that you're fine, but don't sit on it. The more you sit on it, that's you know what causes the rate to go up, right?
Okay, hold on. So we have welcome Moni Love, welcome Taiwo Latuji, the wifey. Welcome Titila Dende, welcome Okpa Joshi, my sis, Sexy Love, welcome. So we have Dr. Kemi that says, is your premium increased when you file a claim for an accident occurring during bad weather or act of God like hurricane and earthquakes and stuff? Dr. Ubi, I hope we were able to answer your question. If not, let us know. So, and Ben said, does injury claim affect my rate?
All right. So I'm going to first answer Dr. Skemi's question, right? So during bad weather, right, if you get into an accident, remember, when an accident happens, somebody must be at fault. Somebody. It has to be on somebody. Somebody must be at fault. And that's why if the bad weather affects everybody in the whole, province, then that's fine, right? But if it's only you or few other people that were affected, obviously they're still gonna say that you're at fault, right? We all know that during bad weather, especially winter period, that's where we have lots of accidents in Ontario as well, because of the snow weather. We all know that sometimes, no matter how careful you drive to, you might still get something. You might be driving so slow, and then something just took away your steering, and then you hit the curb, right? It's still your fault because you're still the person behind the wheel. Yeah, right. So, however, right, the accident forgiveness you have will protect you from your premium increasing, right? So if you have accident forgiveness on your record, on your policy, then your premium will not increase the following year because you have the accident forgiveness. Did I answer Dr. Kemi's question?
She will let us know if you did or not.
Okay.
So what about, what's his name's question in regards to filing?
Okay, so claims does not affect your premium upon renewal. Now, when we say claims, we have to be very careful about it. It could be an at-fault claim, or it could be a non-at-fault. I'm pretty sure it's talking about a non-at-fault claim. So a non-at-fault claim will not affect your premium upon renewal. But this is what you have to remember about claims, right? Most companies nowadays, right? Although in Canada, you're not supposed to be denied insurance. That's the law. But that's why most companies put criteria in place to be able to say, no, I'm not taking this client. Yes, I'm taking this client, and that is allowed. However, let's say, for instance, every time you get into an accident, whether it's a small accident, not a big accident, but you always claim accident benefit. You always claim something, right? So one year might come that, oh, this accident, the accident was your fault. This is what's going to happen at that time. You might not fall into the criteria of that company anymore. then you will start to shop around to get better price. And when brokers now start to pull your record and they can see what you've claimed in the past.
Yeah.
Now, you have to understand too, all the brokers too, they are in this business for profit. Once they see that, oh my God, look at how much this person have claimed.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way they're gonna want to insure that person. You understand? So that's the other thing that we need to have in mind. You know, it's a lot more than what we are thinking, right? It's a lot more.
Okay, so we have TT Ladende that said some lady hit our car and we went to the US. We are from Canada and it's Quebec. She agreed she was at fault. When we got back to Canada, she told the insurance we hit her. Her car was fine. Then we got back to Canada. We got an insurance letter for collection agency that we need to pay. So especially when like when you get into an accident outside of the country, how does that really work in regards to paying?
Okay, so when you get into an accident outside of the country, you should always try to call your insurance company as well, just because you want to be sure that this accident, the accident was reported, because in the case of what our last audience just said, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that case, right, they first have to judge how the accident happened. In your own eyes, you might think, oh, this accident is not my fault. You understand? But like I said earlier on, the insurance companies already know who is at fault at every accident. Anytime you're making a left turn, you will always be at fault. Anytime you hit someone from behind, you will always be at fault. So, but I remember she said that she got it from behind. And I think what she should have done is to call his own insurance company and let them know about it. That, oh, I got hit from behind. This is the information of the other party, and get a police report if there is a police there. If not, if not, make sure you document everything properly, because you remember, people are not very sincere. I've seen that. I see that every day, and I've seen that over the course of the years that I've spent in this insurance industry. I've seen people that genuinely say, "Okay, go. Don't worry about it. It's a minor accident. You can go," and then they ended up being charged for 100% at fault accident, because the other party went to the insurance company and complained about it. So you have to be always careful when you get into an accident. Make sure it's well detailed. If you have to call your insurance company and tell them, okay, this is what happened, this person hit me, right? And that's good. That's the first thing to do. However, if the other party is willing to pay for it, and I've seen it as well, if the other party is willing to pay for it to fix the vehicle, that's also fine, right? But you have to make sure you get his driver's license number, you get his phone number, you get his insurance details. Once you have those three things, even if this person run away at the end of the day, you can still report and make a claim at the end of it.
Okay. I hope that answered your question. So we had other questions. I don't know what happened to my, I'm unable to read. 1 second. We had other questions. Well, you can read the comments too, Mr. Dalton, right?
Right. So can you repeat that question? The call came in, I don't know.
Okay, sorry. No, I had other questions, but okay. Malik, welcome, Malik. Chief Francis, welcome. Pastor Jimmy, you said you're tuned in. That's great. No, I said there was a question, but it seems like I also lost that question. Okay. I remember before in the beginning you mentioned something about a third party, that if you're able to put the vehicle on a third party, it's going to be a cheaper insurance for you or whatnot. Can you expand on that a little bit?
All right. So in this time that we are right now, if you still want to continue driving your car, right, and your car is not financed or it's not leased, right, you can absolutely try to reduce your coverage, right? And third party is one way for you to reduce your coverage, right? So
He said you I'm coming, you're disturbing me. I'm coming. Sorry about that.
that's fine.
When you're at home.
Yeah. So if you want to save a little bit more money and you still want to be driving your vehicle, try to put it on third party instead of you risking to park it and then you're still driving it, right? I mean, the aftermath of you driving a vehicle that is not insured is too severe, and I can tell you, it's just too severe. There are few things that can happen when you get caught driving with no insurance, right? Because if you park your car, people might think that there is insurance on it. It absolutely has no coverage, no collision, nothing. It's only comprehensive coverage that is on it, right? So if you want to still continue driving your car, you can just place it on fire and theft. So that, sorry, on third party, so that
Third party.
so that way you can save a little bit of money, right?
So how long can you keep it on third party for
Well,
without being penalized?
as long as you can. I mean, it's allowed as long as you know you as long as that's what you want, you know, you can do that, right? But it's only the only people that can do that will be those that are not financing their vehicle or listing it, right? So those two people are not allowed to do third party insurance. And I need to explain one more thing about leasing, right? So when you lease a vehicle, you cannot put it on fire and theft, nor suspension, because it's a leased vehicle. So that's another problem people are facing when they call me, oh, Ola, please place my vehicle on suspension, place it on fire and theft, right? But now
Oh,
we
wow.
have to,
That's
yeah,
good.
we have to look at the coverage that they have, and through the coverage that we have, we can best advise them of what they need to do or what's allowed or what's not allowed.
Okay, we have okay, welcome. Let's welcome some people. Iyoge, welcome. Kojo and Koma, welcome. Taiwo or Olaleye, welcome. Okay, that's about it. New people online. And then you have Miss Ogene that says third party isn't it expensive and you are not covered fully. Third party isn't expensive. It's supposed to be reduced.
No, I mean it's not expensive. I mean, you have to also look at what we classify as expensive, right? You know, when you ask for a quote from any broker or from any insurance company, the first thing they want to look at is your record. So if you have no record at all here and you live in Brampton or in Toronto, you know that your price is going to be ridiculously high. So even at that time, if you do a third party, you will only save maybe $50 to $100 every month. So that's the difference between third party having a full coverage. Always.
Yeah, I think you went mute for a second there. Okay, so Mrs. Ladende, Titi Ladende says, when is the best time to buy insurance? Dr. Kemi says, is insurance on the car or the person? If I am insured, but I'm driving someone else's car and get in an accident, whose premium goes up? Mine or the owner of the vehicle that I'm driving?
Okay, that's a very good question, and I'm going to I'm going to explain it in two different ways, right? So whoever owns the vehicle, right, owns the policy entirely, right? If you have a vehicle, you own the policy, and the policy is entitled to the owner of the ownership, right? So if you own the vehicle, you are the sole owner of the policy. Now, if you get into an accident, just as Dr. Kemi just said, so if you get into an accident in someone else's car, right, it will only affect that person's policy, right? If you do not have insurance, right? So let's say Dr. Kemi has her own insurance, right? And then she got into an accident with somebody else's car, right? That's fine, right? Because the accident is going to go on Kemi's name, right? Because on Dr. Kemi's name, because she has a driver's license. So once you have a driver's license, they will always put the accident on you, only when you have your own insurance. Let's say
like your own car insurance or your own life insurance.
Yeah, no, car insurance.
Car insurance, okay.
Yeah, car insurance. Let's say Dr. Kemi doesn't have a car insurance, right? That accident is going to be on that person's policy, not Dr. Kemi's policy, but the owner of the vehicle, right? The only time that accident can be removed off the person's policy is when Dr. Kemi now has her own vehicle. You know, she calls in, she wants insurance. Once they pull her record, it's going to show her that, oh, she has been involved in an accident, and they're going to rate Dr. Kemi for that. So at that point, the other, the other guy can now call his insurance company and say, okay, this accident has been rated already on Dr. Kemi's policy. Can you please remove it from my policy? And it will be removed.
Oh, so so pretty much Dr. Kemi can say she doesn't want it on her policy.
I mean, she doesn't have a choice. Once the moment she wants a policy, that accident is going on her policy. Because, you know, when you get into an accident, they ask for your credentials. They ask for who was behind the wheel. So they can properly note what happened exactly. So whoever is behind the wheel, right, is the person that is at fault, right? But if whoever behind the wheel does not have insurance, right? I don't want us to mix it up. Yeah. If that person does not have insurance, that accident stays on the owner of the vehicle for a long time, unless Dr. Kemi has a home policy in the future, and then they will now say, okay, this accident is going to be rated on our policy.
Okay, so is there a best time to buy insurance?
Absolutely not. Insurance is not seasonal, right? Insurance is all based on your record and where you live, whether we like it or not. You know, especially here in Ontario, which I don't necessarily agree with, right? It's based on, number one, I mean, it's sad to say that the number one risk is where you live. Why should that be? You know, I mean, that's what I always answer. I always ask myself, why should it be where I live?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't they be my record? Why shouldn't it be my record first? But to be honest with you, the first risk is where you live. And that's really unfair to most people that do have good records. And because they moved from Ottawa to Toronto, and they start paying $700, can you imagine?
Oh my goodness.
From $120 a month, and because
like
you move
$500-600,
you start to pay $700 a month. I mean, it's really unfair, but and that's why we all need to really see what's going on. That accident rates in Ontario, in Toronto, or in the GTA is just too much, and that's what's affecting the price, right? It's just the accident rate. The claims are ridiculous, right? And that's why the price is going up.
Okay, welcome, Mr. Alberto. So Mrs. Ladende, Titi Ladende mentioned, what about when you have two cars under one insurance? Is it better to have two different insurance, especially if one of the car is older?
No, it's always good to put those the two vehicles together. Always good, because when you have one car, they only rate you on one car. But when you have two cars, you get more discounts for having two cars. So when you have two cars, you get 15% more for having two vehicles. So it's always good to have both vehicles together. Always.
Okay. Welcome, Velma. She said, this is an eye opener. I will surely look into this. Okay, so we've taken up like an hour and a half of Mr. Dutton's time. If anybody else still has any more questions, giving it 5 more minutes. Let's ask him questions before I go into my own little thing. So if you definitely welcome Emmanuel Ozagi. Okay, Moni Love says, okay, so someone from Nigeria was driving my car and I had insurance and the policy was in my name. They were involved in an accident Is there a way to expunge this? I'm living in the States. I no longer have the vehicle or policy.
Okay, since you're not living, so I want to try to get that question very well. So was this person living in Ontario before moving to the States, or he has always been living in the States?
No, they were living here before and they moved to the States.
Okay, so
I guess this event happened in the States, I believe.
In the States?
Yes.
So if the event happened in the States, there is no way they can avoid that, because this person that's coming from that comes from Nigeria does not have insurance at all in United States, right? And there is no way they can put that accident on the person. So the accident will always be on that. There's no way around it. That accident will always be on the owner of the vehicle, always. Now, like I said earlier on, the only reason why that accident will be removed will probably be if those people now move to Canada, or sorry, move to United States. But you have to remember, they don't have a United States driver's license, so they can't trace them. They are untraceable because they have no license. So that accident will always be on the insurance record, always.
Okay. Wow. Moni Love, I hope that answered your question. Welcome, Emmanuel. Welcome, Michael Ayanoba. Okay, please let them know your details, so where you can be reached.
Well, I mean, my office is in Brampton, although I'm working from home right now. You can always give me a call on 647-688-3558 if you need anything to be done, right? If you need any questions, if you want to ask anything about insurance, give me a shout out, right?
Can you repeat that number again? Sorry,
647-688-3558.
Okay.
Right. I mean, I can pretty much write anything, right? Whether you have a good record, a bad record, or a new driver. I don't do very well with new drivers because of the rate, right? But you can always call. If you call, I will also help you out to see what you can do to get better price somewhere else.
Okay, we have Prosper. Welcome, Prosper. Money Love says, yes, it did. Thank you. This segment is very informative. Welcome, Mr. Yinka Farinde. Okay, so do you have any last information you would like to give your viewers for today?
Well, I mean, I just want to give our viewers some tips that's going to help them to reduce
insurance payments.
No, to reduce their chances and get into an accident, right? This is, and I'm saying this based on statistics, right? I'm an insurance broker. I get called I get calls every day on how accident happen, right? And you guys will be surprised, where accident happens the most at the parking lot, and that shouldn't be happening, right? And this is my logic when it comes to parking at the parking lot. Always back in, so that when you're coming out, you can see everything in front of you. Remember, number one, back in. Don't go in like that, because when you're backing out, when you actually finish your grocery or you finish shopping and you're backing out, you have to look you have to look left, right, back, front, right, before you can actually proceed, right? And that's where most people get into an accident. But if you backed in at the beginning, when you want to move out, when you finish your grocery and you're moving out of the parking lot, you can easily see what's going on. And then that will limit your chance. I mean, you might still get into an accident, but it will absolutely limit your chance from getting into an accident. The second thing is that when you're making a left turn, remember, when you're making a left turn, you will always be at fault if an accident happens. So you have to make sure that the oncoming traffic is completely safe for you to move. Do not assume. And this is what people always say. Oh, they say, oh, but Ola, the light already stopped them. They're supposed to stop. No, that's an assumption. Do not assume. Always make sure that it's safe to go before you go. You have to always think about it. Think about it, like who's gonna be at fault, right? So sometimes when you're making a left turn and the person crosses the red light, if you do not have witnesses, right, that will say, oh, that person crossed the red light, the accident is still going to be your fault. So that's why when you're making a left turn, I want you to take, all precautions, make sure that it is safe to go before you go. And the last one is going to be when you are at the stop sign, right? Stop sign, that is another place that I don't think accidents should occur. And you'll be amazed that accidents still happen there, right? I understand people will say, well, I got there first, right? And then we both moved at the same time, right? That's still going to be 50-50, right? Because there's, it's stop sign all way, right? So you want to be careful when you get there. Make sure that there is eye contact. There's no way to rush when you get there. When you get there, if the person is not moving, you wave to him, hello, can I go? Right? If he says yes, go, then you go.
Yes, I see people do that.
Right? You need that eye contact, because accidents shouldn't be happening there. Those are the three ways I think we can reduce our chances from getting into an accident.
We have Mo's Place. Welcome, Mo's Place. Velma Obeng says, thank you so much for this important tip. Negro Ode says, dashboard camera is very recommended. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, right. I mean, it's more effective when accident happen, right? Because the whole first thing they want to ask you is, do you have a camera, right? So they can look through it and be sure of what happened. Like I said earlier on, some companies will give you a discount, whereas some companies will not give you a discount, because they're saying that the person behind the wheel is still the person that we want to rate. We don't want to rate the camera that you have in the car. We don't want to give you more discounts because of that, right? But it depends on the company, right? It depends on the company across the board, right?
We have Domingos Alberto says, piggybacking on Mrs. Alberto's question, the accident that happened in the USA, the person was blamed. Police confirmed, but their insurance tried to have us pay, but we ignored and they stopped calling. Is that okay, or should more be done?
Well, I mean, I think you know that once insurance company says that you're owing them. But in this case, there is no payment attached to it. They're only saying that that person is at fault. Now, I'm not sure if the insured asked the insurance company to fix the vehicle for them and they refused it. So I'm not really sure of what happened in that area. But yes, you can, since you're not claiming any money from them, then you're good to go. Since you're not asking them to fix the vehicle, you're good to go. You understand? But that's why they stop calling you. I do not know how insurance work in America, but in Canada, right? Whoever is at fault, his own insurance company deals with that person. So the other party will also go to his own insurance company to get his car fixed. But in America, I'm not sure of how it works. Maybe whoever is at fault also pay for the damages that happen to the other party.
Yeah, I think they do. Mhm.
Yeah, in America, right? Yeah, so America is different. So we are very lucky we're here in Canada.
Oh yeah. Mr. Tony Tonalo, welcome. Okay, so we've come to the end of our segment with our guest speaker, Mr. Dotun Olatunji. We want to say thank you very much for your time. And you guys, don't be afraid to give him a call in regards to more questions about insurance, and you probably want to decrease the payment of your insurance at the moment. Guess what? Just call and try to see if most likely you're going to be getting a lesser payment deal. Call him and try to get that discount on your next before you have to renew your insurance. So we want to say thank you so much for your time, and definitely in the future would most likely be calling you back. Thank you. You can stay online if you choose to, but let me just have about 5 to 10 minutes conversation with the guests. I mean, with those that are watching me, my viewers.
Yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. I really thank you for your time, and I hope I was able to answer most of the questions correctly. Thank you very
much. Some people are just saying thank you. Thanks for the great information. We do appreciate it. Thank you. And so back to us. I just want to say during this period of time I think is one of the best time to definitely try to get as much information as possible, but positive information, good information. Let's not be looking for negative information, because that only brings about fear, and fear is not good. Fear is not good in all manners of what do you call it, edges. Fear is not good, because it only keeps you in bondage. You'll be scared to go left, you'll be scared to go right, all in the name of fear, because you're uncertain of what is next. You're uncertain of what is going to happen, or what with you mentally, financially, family wise. But just keep doing what you've been doing and just be better at it. Let's put it like that. And if what you were doing is something you were not happy about, especially a lot of people are not happy with the jobs that we're doing, try to find ways in how you can maybe take a course online. Right now, a lot of courses are free online at the moment. So try to like tap into that, and just expand your horizons when it comes to coming out of the box in which you find yourself in the past couple of years that you're not happy with. Thank you very much for coming out, you guys. Mr. Ubi says, insurance guy must be a great guy. Thanks. Yes, he is. Mr. Alberto says, excellently done, my brother. Thank you, guys. Yes, he did a very, very good job. We appreciate him. But if you do need an insurance, or you want to decrease the insurance payments, you should definitely be calling up on him. The number is pinned there, 647-688-3558. And you can definitely link up with me later also to ask me for more details about Mr. Dotun Olatunji. So true, my sister. Money Love, excellent. Yes. So if you find yourself, thank you, Uncle Yinka, for the nice. If you find yourself in a space where you know, you have not been happy in the job where you've been, you know, you're not happy with the situation where you've been. This is the best time right now to try to look for what you're good at, what you're great at. This is the best time for you to try to, you know, look for other things that you've been wanting to do, but you were too scared or you were not able to leave work because of it. Sorry, 1 second, Mama. It's good. You don't need a charger. So, you know, this is the best time for you to get into that. Some people want to take time off or unable to take time off for interviews to get other jobs. But guess what? This is the best time for you to, some companies are still doing interviews. They're doing virtual interviews online. So don't limit yourself in still sending that resume. Don't limit yourself in still looking for that job that you actually want to do, get into that career that you want to do. Don't limit yourself. This is still the best time to do that. Do not let fear take over you. Don't let fear take control of you. It's just a way of limiting your potential. It's just a way of limiting your greatness, and you do not want to do that. You do not want to do that. And right now, where the world itself, not just Canada, not just Europe, not just Africa, the whole world itself is shifting. You understand? The world is shifting at the moment. So this is the best time to shift with it in a positive way. Not in a negative way, in a positive way. It's time for you to shift. Don't be nonchalant. Don't be ignorant. Don't just sit back and just say, what can we do? We're doomed. No, you're not doomed. This is the best time to find the purpose in which you've been put on earth to do. A lot of people during this time, especially after this whole shift, it's because we're still going to be shifting for a very, very long time. But this period where it's like you actually noticing the shift itself, this is when a lot of people are actually going to find themselves. They're going to find their purpose. And after the main shift is, you know, has been established, this is when most people are actually going to become millionaires. You know, this is when millionaires are going to become billionaires. So this is the best time for you to find who you are, because you do not know what your source is attached to. You do not know what your purpose is attached to. So do not limit yourself in sorrow. Do not limit yourself with emptiness. Do not limit yourself with all this negative news in regards to the 5G and all this vaccines that is going on. Like, the world is not about that. It's not just about that. There's so much more to the world than just vaccines and 5Gs. If you're going to survive, you're going to survive. You're a survivor, so you have to believe it, and what you believe, what you think is what you're going to act on. So if you're a survivor, guess what? You're going to survive. Now, let's think of what we can do to survive. What are the things you need to get into to be a survivor? The main thing right now is we're all in this box. Well, most people are in the box, not everybody. Most people are in the box. So looking at the front, the back, the east, the west of this box, how can you come out of this box? And we're not talking about physically out of the box, but mentally out of the box. You know, you have to find ways, you have to find the windows, the doors. How can you come out of this box? Because life is not about 9 to 5. Life is not about working for someone for the rest of your life, even though a lot of people, that's what they do. But there are those few who think outside of the box. And those are the ones that are able to, what do you call it? Make marks. Those are the ones that are able to bring about change. Those are the ones that are able to give different doors, different windows to some things that have been done the same way for generations. They are the ones that bring colors to the black and the white, you know? So you have to create something. In your boredom right now, this is the best time to create. Right now, before this whole issue of COVID-19, example, TikTok wasn't even like I-rated like that. It was still Instagram, Facebook, and whatnot, which they're still doing what they do because it's social media. But right now, TikTok is like booming, because at the end of the day, everybody has their own time. Everybody has their time. even this hand sanitizers that we used to buy for like $1.99, now you go to the store, they're selling it for $20. Everything has its time. So you have to tap into that, tap into it and try to find out what is the niche in where you can, you know, bring about that change in your own life. Tap into it, try to find out what it is that you can bring to the table, not only to yourself, to your family, to the community, and eventually to the nation as a whole. So my brothers, my sisters, thanks again for coming in, for tuning in to Ade Babes, your hosts, like always, under Adeba Connector TV. Please, please, please go on YouTube and subscribe, share the contents on there. Very, very much appreciated. And then also on my Instagram page, you can go there also at Ade_babes. You can definitely say hi to me. Some people have been trying to reach me on Facebook. I have thousands of messages on Facebook. I'm not able to read everyone. So if you truly have something serious and important that you want to talk about, do link me up on my Instagram page, Ade_babes. There I'm able to actually reply your questions or comments. So thank you once again for tuning in, and we'll be back soon with another special guest. So stay tuned. See you guys. Love you. Bye.